Welcome to Start With The Facts. Welcome back to Start With The Facts. Happy Thursday. You are back to joining with us. Again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you again to Nick and Cam for getting the show on at 2 o'clock now. So every day, 2 p.m., we will be on the network. Hopefully you all will join us for all of the fun, excitement, joy, and our expert opinions on Start With The Facts. Today is a special day. We got a visitor and I don't know if you call him a co-host. I don't know if you call this motherfucker crazy. But we have somebody who is as entertaining as DJ. Y'all know that's hard to match. And so I won't put you on the spot. We have a man, Jay Richardson.
What's happening?
In the building, along with the listen. We
in the building. Sorry, DJ, I'm in here now.
All right, yeah. So we have the normal crew. Alex is virtual. He's in Ohio with us, but he's virtual. We have Jeremy and Brian. But before we get started, Jay, I heard you were giving a sports take or a take that I wanted to get the show started off with, right? Oh. Give us your take on how women became whores.
Oh, God. So look, and don't take this the wrong way.
Just for context, this is as wild as he is. And I told him, if we ever do a podcast, you ain't gonna give me that Sports Center shit you be trying to do.
Give us the nasty stuff.
I said, I need to talk to the Jay I'll be talking to.
So this dude trying to, so my dog
I'm throwing you up under the bus.
Want Jay uncut. This is like back in the day when you watch BET late night.
So this is what
they show you like half a nipple. Listen.
So I was talking to Brian about BET Uncut the other week. I'm glad you referenced it.
You know I know about Uncut. Brian, you might not understand this, but there was a time where we had to do our dirt in the darkness late in our rooms, and you did what you had to do. Listen, we're going to talk quickly. I'm going to be brief.
Before we jump into the sports takes, I just want to... You were given an amazing theory on how in society people have become whores, and then we'll jump to sports. But
this is not just women, but we're just gonna. I'm not attacking women, by the way, at all. I love women. You guys are beautiful. You got to understand that the feminist movement had a lot of different impacts that it had, and it did a lot for women's rights, and I'm very big on that. So yes, I might be tap dancing.
You're tap dancing.
We're gonna get right into it. Okay. What it also did was allow women to do some of the things that men do, and that's a beautiful thing in the workforce. Socially, when you're talking about interacting with the opposite sex, you know what? I'm gonna just be blunt with it. It definitely allowed for whoredom to be prevalent, and I'm trying to think of the best way to put it without offending anyone, but I think it's going to happen.
Corporate. Look, he's fighting. Look, he's fighting between corporate Jay and degenerate Jay. And so I'm going to give the show to Brian.
I'm not going to
because I see we have boundaries with Jay.
You know what? Let me just for a moment. I'm not going to indulge my deviant nature, but what I will say is that it made whoring comfortable, and it even encouraged it, and then the social media. Those platforms really kind of enhanced it. And now with OnlyFans, which by the way is a $1 billion platform that's given over $25 billion back to its creators, which is crazy when you look at the numbers. Again, I don't know anything about that because I would never pay for something like that because it's so prevalent, it's free. And I said this famously, Dave Chappelle said this famously in the stand-up. He said, if vagina was a stock, it'd be plummeting right now because the market's been flooded with it. And I think that in some part is due to the feminist movement. It's made whoring almost like a go-to lane for a lot of young females that haven't found their path yet. And so we're praying that they all find their path.
That ain't how, listen to me, people, that's not how he normally talks. That was political Jay, corporate Jay. Somebody's going to watch this later on, Jay.
My name is Jay Richardson, and I endorse this message.
So I wish y'all could have heard the version that we heard it. And so thank you for, what do they call them in Congress? Filibusters? we had a filibuster
Brian,
moment.
That was
What in the hell was that?
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to say.
I have no idea.
Yes. I was trying to get y'all the comedic Jay who talks behind the scenes, but we did. I tried to.
We're gonna get a little bit of both.
Okay.
We're gonna get a little bit of both.
But on to the show.
All right, we are off to a roaring start. Welcome to the studio, Jay. Great to see you. A-list celebrity Jay Richardson in the house. Let's go.
God.
Let's go.
I'm really happy to be here, and thank you guys for having me. I love this show, man. Start with the facts. By the way, I love that title, Reese, man. That's like.
Hey, you ain't got to be corporate here, man.
No, I'm just saying in
This
general,
ain't how you
bro,
talk.
like,
Hey, listen,
you
so
super
this ain't how you
straightforward,
talk.
so I love that
This ain't
about
how you talk. Yeah, this ain't. This look, the corporate. That's not him. This ain't how he talk. It may take us a few times to get through this, but this ain't how this dude talk to me. We wouldn't even be friends if we talked like that.
He's not lying. He's not lying.
No,
He's not
so
lying.
Brian, come on. Back to the show.
I'm trying to help you get on SportsCenter, not run you out of it. So, I'm trying to help you out. You're a brother. All right, let's move it to
That's
the
my
NFL.
dog.
We're going to talk about Lamar Jackson. We're going to talk about the Ravens at the Miami Dolphins Thursday Night Football tonight. Lamar Jackson coming back from a hamstring injury. He's been out a couple of games, leading the 2-5 Ravens this evening. So my question for you guys, you can jump into the X and O's of this game tonight if you'd like. What I'm most curious about, Maurice, week one, after a loss to the Bills, you wrote off the Chiefs, and we've talked about that at length. The Ravens now sit at 2-5, okay? Are the Ravens done? Or is Lamar coming back?
Done.
Do you give them a chance at making the playoffs?
No, I think they've done. I don't. Me, this is just my opinion. I wrote the Chiefs off and I wrote Bama off, and I was wrong about those two. But when I look at what's going on with the Ravens, I don't think that the Ravens can turn this thing around. That's just my opinion. I just think that, again, this is not fact-based. This is all opinion-based. But I just don't foresee, after what happened at the beginning half of this season, I just don't see the same tenacity, the same fight. I don't think that they just have whatever magic that they were playing with for the past 36 months when Lamar Jackson going on these MVP runs. I just don't see them having it, and just let me just name this. A hamstring is one of the most nagging injuries that you can have as any athlete, right? And so when his game is built around mobility and running, people may play into the part of flushing him out of the pocket even more to force him to run, to force him to make these electrifying movements with, juking people the way that he does or taking off on these sprints just to see if his hamstring actually holds up. So I don't foresee it happening with them coming back and making a playoff run or being of any significance, but that's just me. But I was wrong about Bama and the Chiefs, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong about the Ravens.
I usually like to argue the opposite just to be contentious sometimes, but he's absolutely right, man. The Ravens are cooked. The Ravens are not just cooked because of Lamar's hamstring. They're cooked because of their defense. So even when they had Lamar and they were able to have a high output offensively, as you mentioned, that Bills game where they put up 42 points, guess what the Bills put up? 48.
Yep.
The problem with that has always been their defense. You got Marlon Humphrey in and out of the lineup. You got their star safety, Kyle, in and out of the lineup with injuries. You got a defensive lineman they just paid a lot of money to in and out of the lineup with injuries, or I think was almost on IR. So, yes, there's a lot of injuries and they're banged up, but the problem with the Ravens has been, honestly, since the days of Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, they've not been the defensive team that they need to be in the big moments. Lamar consistently puts up points, consistently moves that offense. Derrick Henry, I know he had some fumble issues earlier in the season.
He's going to produce, though.
Some critical, but he's going to produce, bro.
Yeah.
What you're going to get out of King Henry. The problem is the defense. They can't cover anybody. And you can't cover grass. You got guys back there covering grass, and teams are running the ball when they want to. They're passing when they want to. And then Lamar goes, damn, I got to go back here and do it again.
It becomes frustrating.
Man, you know how frustrating that is to go and crank out 42 points as an offense, and you get in your team meetings, and you're looking and going, bro, they put up 48 on us. We need y'all to help us out. Yeah. So the defense has been terrible for a while.
And if you get 42 points, that means that the other team isn't getting bad field position. They're getting if you've gotten 42 points, it means that you scored, kicked the ball off.
Correct.
And you're allowing the other team to drive the length of the field, which means you fucking horrible.
It's a shit defense.
I think you're leaving out one thing though too. Lamar Jackson is his leadership, his presence in the game is going to elevate everybody else. I think
you wanted something.
I think they sat back and they see where their flaws are at. But when Lamar comes back, you think they ain't turning up? They turning up. They coming to try and get that division. I don't think that division is way out there and lost for them to try to at least make it competitive and make a push to get a wild card or something like that.
You have an argument because of the division, because
because Cleveland
it's
and
a
Cincy.
crap division.
Yeah.
Because Cleveland and Cincy are walking dumpster
it's,
fires.
It's just trash.
But at the end of the day, man, go ahead, Alex.
Hey, so earlier when we started doing the show, man, it was always about, Lamar and him. Is he elite? He's a runner and this and that, generational talent, right? So what did we say about Lamar? He has now become a pocket passer. Now he's even better. So he don't necessarily need to run. If they do flush him out, I think he'll be able to get that check down out the way. So no. They are not done. And this stands to my point when I was saying that I don't know if we have the division, man. And I hate going back on what I said. That, like I said, peer pressure is a serious thing, but I can't let it get to me. We the Steelers, they play us twice, so I'm giving us that win. But when you look at the rest of the schedule that they have, man, they can win out. Besides us, obviously, they got Green Bay and New England, who's going to be tough games. But other than that, they can win these games. Jeremy, great point.
You said the Ravens could beat Green Bay.
Thank you,
No,
Alex.
I said besides they're not gonna beat us, but besides the Green Bay and New England, those are gonna be their toughest matches. That's what I'm saying.
So to Alex, and I agree with you. And when you're virtual, I'm probably always going to agree with you. So great point. I don't think the Ravens are done. Lamar Jackson, I still think he's the best quarterback in the NFL when healthy. Even better than a trending upward Patrick Mahomes.
Drugs.
But my question is, they're favored by 7.5 going into Miami. So I think let's make picks. Do you think they're going to win outright? Dolphins, so let's make your betting pick. Ravens in Miami, Ravens minus 7.5, favored to win. And I want everybody to answer a second question, which is, if they miss the playoffs this year, is John Harbaugh on the hot seat?
I'll answer him backwards. I don't think John Harbaugh is on the hot seat at all. I think he's a damn good coach. You can argue there's a ton of pieces that you need on the defensive side of the ball because you obviously have offensive production. But I'll go with, and I'll say this, I'll go with Miami, hoping that they turn to the ground. Who did they just beat? Miami just got their first
Atlanta?
victory.
They beat Atlanta.
They just beat Atlanta. I'm going to go with Miami getting their engine started versus Lamar Jackson coming back and making a huge impact. I fell on the same train with Mateer in college for Oklahoma.
So Miami definitely caught a little bit of fire against Atlanta. Mike McDaniel coaching for his job, coaching for his future, and you can tell because he pulled out all the stops, calling all kind of stuff. Tua with a bad eye, I don't know, this dude might throw better blindfolded than he does with two good eyes because he was finding Waddle and doing things that we haven't seen Tua do since pre-third concussion Tua. So that was fantastic for him. I think they beat the Ravens specifically because, again, the Ravens defense, you're giving up over 350 yards every single week, and you get an offensive
genius.
That's a track team.
Yeah,
they're going to run up yards. And as much as I love Lamar, I know he's not 100% healthy. And I know what you guys were saying, Alex, about him being a pocket passer. That's something that's very underrated in where Lamar is in his evolution as a quarterback. Man, the dude can throw the football from the pocket. Yeah. He is an elite quarterback, Brian. I'm right there with you. I don't know if I would put him at number one. I think you might have smoked meth before you came in there when you said one. But I don't think you're a meth head. I think you're close. I think he's in the top three when healthy. I do agree with that. But the biggest thing about it is, man, you cannot move around with a bad hammy, so you're going to have to be isolated. When you have what we call a statue in the pocket, a sitting duck, Miami's got some pass rushers. They got some guys that can actually rush the passer. He's going to be in trouble. I think not only do they win, they cover, and I think Miami's going to be on a little bit of a hot streak getting out of this game.
I got the Ravens winning. I think they bounce back. I think they bounce back strong. I do want to answer that Harbaugh. I don't think I think it's going to be lukewarm seat this year, but and it'll get hotter if next year he's not producing. But yeah, I think I got Lamar Jackson and them boys turning up.
Can I take that one more level real quickly? I completely disagree with Maurice Claret. I absolutely wholeheartedly disagree. I think not only will he be John Harbaugh on the hot seat, I think John Harbaugh is already on the hot seat. I think not having Lamar Jackson in the lineup these past 5 weeks, in a sense, has exposed a little bit of who John Harbaugh is as a coach. I got, a lot of history when you look. What does John Harbaugh actually do well?
Okay,
he's not a defensive genius, not an offensive genius. Special teams have struggled. Defense has been awful. When Lamar is not there to save his ass, I don't know what it is he does. He mismanages games.
Who would Andy Reid be if Patrick Mahomes on the sideline?
Andy Reid would still be an offensive genius. Andy Reid is still the guy that took Donovan McNabb in a TO.
Let's not talk.
Alex Smith. I mean,
he's had success with a lot of players. Let's not talk about.
I love McNabb. I'm not shitting on Donovan McNabb.
Okay.
What I'm saying is,
hey, listen to me. You can't talk about Donovan McNabb like Donovan McNabb was a bum. But if you hold on,
dog.
hey Jay, this work both ways. Like I let you talk, yeah, let me talk, right? Or we're just gonna tell me, hey, mute this nigga's mic, yo. But this is how it goes. Like just because you over talk somebody don't mean you're right. But if you take any star player out of their lineup, the team is going to suffer. Because the entire offseason, you built your whole scheme and thing around your star players being available.
Yes.
Nobody ever says, like, man, same thing with Kevin Stefanski. We're about to be third deep on the depth chart with production. Lamar's skill set is drastically different from even your remotely distant backup. That's what I'm saying.
So you're 100% correct there. They built the offense for Lamar Jackson.
Correct.
It's going to be hard, for the redheaded kid to come in there. I can't think of his name and run that same offense. And then you got Snoop Huntley trying to get in there and run up. I get it. But there have been times where star quarterbacks, Tom Brady went down. I want to say it was like 2009 or 10. Matt Castle comes in there. They win 10 games. Yeah, Josh McDaniels, a fantastic coordinator.
We can agree there.
You have to be able to pivot, and you got to understand everybody knows that you're one hit away from being on the bench or having the backup have to come in. So you got to have an offensive package ready for the next guy up.
Can we do one thing? Can we agree that Lamar Jackson's skill set is drastically different? The only other backup that would be presumably comparable would be a Michael Vick, a Cam Newton, a dynamic running quarterback. If you go from Tom Brady to Matt Castle, you're dealing with a traditional pocket passing quarterback who distributes the ball. I think that's not, just my opinion, I don't think that's apples to apples.
Not apples to apples. We can agree there completely. But the point is, you got to be able to pivot and have an offense set up for the guy coming in, whoever that guy is. End of the day, man, I think you learn a lot about this team once they lose Lamar and you realize, man, I can't pinpoint what John Harbaugh does great specifically as a coach. There were times where we've seen him botch in-game operations, not calling timeout when he should have, running the ball when you probably should have thrown it.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Hold real quick. Is Bill Belichick a horrible coach?
I would say he's probably the greatest.
Okay. What happened when he lost Tom Brady?
He looked like shit.
The greatest quarterback, by the way, of all time.
But let me ask both you guys right back to you.
Did that, before we move on, did that not prove my point?
I don't know that there's a point to prove. I think you're both right.
I'm just trying to be right.
Let me ask you guys. Let me ask a follow-up.
GOAT quarterback as an example.
Let me ask a follow-up. Do we all agree that Lamar Jackson is 1, 2, or 3 in the league right now when healthy as an NFL quarterback?
1,000%,
1, 2, or 3.
yes.
Okay. So if he's 1, 2, or 3, he's been in the league how many years? Is he 8 or 9 years? Has he been in the league that long? 8 or 9 years?
Yeah, right around there.
What have the Ravens done with the 1, 2, or 3rd best quarterback in the NFL over the last 8 or 9 years?
Ding, 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 ding.
The championship. Got to the championship game.
To the AFC championship. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And lost it.
Most of the times they're one and done.
So does the Super Bowl define you?
No, but I think if you have the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd best quarterback in the NFL, winning an AFC championship, getting to a Super Bowl, and then it's a coin toss, win or lose. My opinion is
who are your other people? Who are your other best quarterbacks?
Josh Allen, which would be the same.
So
very
is that
similar
a failure?
scenario. So is Josh Allen a
yeah,
failure?
So, but I'm asking, like, does a so if you have a top quarterback in the league, does that mean your team should go to the Super Bowl?
No, I think actually all 3 coming out of the same conference is pretty tough on all of them. But I think Andy Reid has proven his superiority over everybody else. So here's my point. John Harbaugh isn't.
I have a point after you. Go ahead.
You can have all the points you want.
Yeah.
You're on fire today. Let's go. Good Lord. I think John Harbaugh is a great coach. He's a good coach. I think he's mismanaged Lamar Jackson, and I think they've dramatically underachieved with him. I hope he gets fired, and I hope he ends up in Cleveland.
I'll take
I'm
him.
trying to see where that was coming from.
No, okay. But I forgot what I was going to say, but it was more to prove my point that you can have the greatest quarterback, but football isn't basketball. You have to have a lot of other pieces, which we just proved with the defensive side of things.
Yeah.
I think you can have a dynamic quarterback, right? And you can have. I also think that you can have a decent quarterback, and you can go win a Super Bowl, right? And he can be middle of the road, but just do what you need him to do.
Who did that? John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh did that. I mean, it kind of proves your point. He did that with Joe Flacco.
Oh, Joe Flacco.
And did he also do it with
The Ravens,
Trent Dilfer?
2013 in the Harbaugh Bowl.
I don't know if he was there. But it's
Or that was
kind of
Brian
interesting
Billick.
with Harbaugh because he kind of made that offense perfect around Lamar Jackson. So then when you're thinking about, okay, he'll be on the hot seat, but who are you replacing him with? That's going to conform the offense around the skill set of Lamar Jackson.
Well, a lot
That's
of that,
where it gets tricky.
a lot of that you give to Greg Roman and the OC and some things that he built and put in place to help Lamar kind of become the best version of himself. Again, I look at John Harbaugh as a culture setter in Baltimore between him and Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie Newsome, who really set that culture and built the Ravens' blueprint of this who we are, tough, hard-nosed defense, and we're gonna fight you, we're gonna kick your ass, and then we got some talent, we got some stars, but no one super impactful. And then all of a sudden one day you get a Lamar Jackson and it changes kind of the trajectory of your offense and it changes the makeup of the team. That's great. But to Brian's point, what has John Harbaugh really done with that? You can look at McDermott in Buffalo and say, man, he got a generational talent, and he also hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he's been consistently in AFC championships. He just happens to lose to the best guy on the planet, Pat Mahomes.
But is that not the same thing with the Ravens? They're always in contention.
But you can't even get past the Bills to even be able to see the Chiefs in that big one, except for one time.
But somebody has to lose. You know that, right?
100%. So your point being that they're all in the same conference, you're right. That's tough.
But we're arguing they're all the same. Unless you at the end of the season doing this. We talking about losers. We're talking about you're the first loser, second loser, third loser, but you're a better loser to me. To me, they're all the same. But I'm also, man, knowing how many pieces it takes to actually win a football game. If any person lose a significant piece of their offense, like the coaches, okay, it's an old saying: great players make good coaches look great.
I'm with you.
You need players. That's what I'm saying.
You're not wrong. If the games that they were losing these last 5 weeks were like super competitive and you're like, yeah, but Lamar would have made the difference. That wasn't coaching. That was Lamar. Yeah, they've been getting blown out. They've been getting their butts kicked a few times. Like that, at some point, you got to look at the coach and go, man, you got to be able to keep that competitive.
Okay.
We're going to keep moving. After the show, we're going to continue this.
We're going to still argue.
Yeah, we're going to keep going because we have to define a winner for sure. All right, we're going to keep it with football. We're going to move to college. So there's a lot of smoke in this next conversation. I haven't seen a fire yet, but Urban Meyer was on a podcast yesterday, talked a little bit about potentially the governor of the state of Louisiana getting involved with Brian Kelly's firing from LSU, some behind closed doors meetings at the governor's mansion. Now we talk about Penn State, you talk about behind closed doors again, Adidas potentially helping push James Franklin out to get usher in a new era of leadership there at State College. Penn State has come out and adamantly denied that Adidas had anything to do with that. But again, a lot of smoke in both of these conversations. I think the real discussion here is let's go 5 years back. The people making the decision on college coaches tended to be the athletic director, the board, right, and the president of the university. And now this just opens up a floodgate. You start talking about politicians. You talk about big brand sponsors. Alex, you didn't get to jump in on the last topic. My apologies. Can you kick this one off? What are your thoughts?
Yes. So let's go back to the guy at Stanford. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but you guys remember we were sitting there and I was like, man,
First name is
Oh,
Bradford.
about that. Yeah,
that's what I remember. His first name is Bradford.
Yeah, Bradford, the guy from Stanford. And when I talked about it, I said, when you get these guys who start to donate this amount of money, or now we're dealing with politics, if they get involved, how much control are they going to want to have over the football program? Now you got to think about a guy. Do you go in and now you got to interview with the governor now as well as the board? Man, that's tough, man. And so to go into something like that, it's like, man, do I really want this job? Do I want to have to go through all of that? But maybe the first few years you're saying, no, I don't want to deal with that. But if that becomes the standard, it evolves to it. It's tough, man. I hope it's not true. I hope it's not true because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, damn, that's really messed up. But if it's true, it is what it is. You got to adapt with the times, man. But that's effed up, bro. If the governor has something to do with it, that's effed up.
I'll give a bit of information. I don't know if you know, just from an educational standpoint. So, most governors help to appoint the board of trustees for universities. Yeah, so in some way, they basically give clearance, for who's on the board to govern the board of trustees. And then also cities and states receive state and federal funding for students who end up basically being retained in a state and so on and so forth. Like after they end up basically graduating, if they stay in a state, there's funding that's received. And that's a whole different conversation. So when I heard of this, I 1000% said that this is true. And for somebody like in LSU, you have to remember, like, this is the biggest thing in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That thing probably generates so much fucking money, just like Ohio State generates a ton of money here in Columbus. And just like, I'm wearing UConn gear right now up in Storrs, Connecticut. There's nothing else besides this. And so I'm pretty sure that the governor has an economic interest in what LSU produces, the ticket sales, the hotels, the travel, and just the brand in general to make their state attractive. So
it comes back down to the business part.
Yeah, I actually agree with it, right? Sometimes we used to put the onus on players have to perform, right? This is my perspective on it. It was always players have to perform and the players had the accountability to the coaches, right? And the coaches could kind of like exist out there and they can kind of do good, they can kind of do bad. And then if they did bad, they'll just go somewhere else. But this is the first time that you're seeing accountability because other people have investment. Like when you get money from government, you're just getting money from a pot of like this thing that has been federally funded or funded through state, and people kind of spend that money haphazardly. But when you start to get these donors and stuff in place, and there's a metric on your performance, like you start to create this environment where it's a business. And so we're just used to looking at college sports like it's a business or like it's this extension of high school, but it's not that anymore. It's the minor leagues in so many words.
So you and this has been, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you say this has been happening though?
It's been happening with the governor having influence over the program, but the money that was paid to the coaches, it probably came out of an endowment or probably came from tuition. Now when I got to go ask Jay and I say, hey, Jay, give me $20 million, or the governor says, hey, I need to increase enrollment, and enrollment at our school is driven from the football program, the brand can't look bad. Like you can't have LSU being talked about in the bottom half of the SEC. That's what I'm saying. And so in the South, they do things different. Basically what he said is like, nigga, we ain't having that. Get the fuck out of here, yo.
100%.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then let's go solicit Urban Meyer. Let's go solicit Lane Kiffin. Let's go solicit Nick Saban. This is, I ain't had a lot of sleep, so I'm just talking very ignorant. nigga, this is what we doing. That's the.
Can I paraphrase what you said? Because I 100% agree. And Alex, man, look, if you think the governor of a state is not going to be involved in his biggest money-making institution in his state, then I got some beachfront property in Nevada to sell you. Like it's he's 100,000 fucking % going to be involved in every decision that's going to happen that impacts his state. And LSU is the biggest thing. I played in New Orleans. Let me tell you something.
You was down there, yeah.
I was down there. Trust me. The biggest thing smoking is the LSU Tigers, and no one's been scared to play in Death Valley since Brian Kelly got there. And we're going to talk a little bit about their AD Scott Woodward. And because he was the same guy that made sure that Jimbo Fisher got that huge money in A&M and then got that $90+ million buyout, and now you're having to buy out another guy, and there's been no recourse or accountability for the AD. He just get the right checks and keep doing his thing. But yeah, it's not shocking, one, and two, it's a sign of where we are in college sports, guys. Like this is no longer amateur status, as they say. Like this is big business. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and when you got DraftKings and all of these other betting sites that are now getting involved in it, you are nuts if you don't think every political official is going to be cracking down. Look at what's going on with the NBA. Like this is now just a feeder system into the NFL.
Yeah,
and so it's the minor leagues, and it's open, and we're all paying the people who are actually producing, which are the athletes, as it probably always should have been. And so the whole idea of tradition and all that, it's not out the window because that can still be the difference maker for great programs. Yeah, but at the end of the day, man, this is just big business. And if you think the politicians aren't going to be involved in big business, you're crazy.
Yeah, and when you guys say that business part of it, I understand it, but I just really bad for college football. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
So I'll give you an example of where else this happens, and it happened, right neighboring state in Florida. Do you guys remember over the summer, Santa Ono, the president at the University of Michigan? So this cross blends politics, sports, teaching, the teaching part of it, the institution. So Santa Ono tried to, basically, I think, run from Michigan to avoid all of the fallout with the potential sanctions, and what actually happened, right, was nothing of significance. But he hightailed it out of the University of Michigan. And he had a job. He had a job at the University of Florida. Well, who came in at the last second and interrupted that and actually canceled it. DeSantis and the Florida Board of Governors. So,
because you're yeah,
right?
Ahead.
Because your
Yeah,
political affiliations do not align with ours. What you did up there is not going to happen down here.
Yeah.
So it happens at universities all over the place.
Bingo.
It's making headlines now because this is really athletics. This is college football, and it was said by Urban Meyer on a podcast. So to me, it's nothing new, but I still find it interesting.
Yeah, but the beauty of social media, podcasting, everything. The good part of media being decentralized is that you hear conversations you would have never heard before. So that's what I can say. Thanks, Urban. We appreciate you
because you're pulling the curtain back on something that I think we all kind of know has been going on, but now it's like, oh wow, like you said, Alex, I know it's surprising to you, and you might feel like it's ruining the sport, but this is what the sport always was. This is just showing you the rest. Like Santa Claus ain't real either, big dog, and there is no Easter bunny. Like this is just what it is.
Y'all bringing me up, man. I appreciate that.
All right, so have you guys seen this? Jordan's this is gonna air at halftime of select games throughout the season. They haven't said how many games he's going to be interviewed in a sit down with Mike Tirico, but it's called Insights to Excellence, and it's kind of a short version interview, and somebody that I certainly as a kid grew up looking up to and idolized, and he's really been out of the spotlight for the most part since his retirement.
Yeah,
and so it's some insight into the way he thinks and the way he played. And the topic that I want to talk about today is load management. So it was really the focus of the interview, and players today hitting this period during the season where they sit out a game maybe every 8 or 9 games to manage the workload leading into the playoffs. And to paraphrase, Jordan's obviously heavily against it. That he feels like that's something he never did, something Kobe never did. His wife has spoken a lot about that. And the thought in both of their minds was always the family up in the nosebleeds or up in the rafters who probably saved, for a couple of weeks to bring the family to the game. And he never wanted to let a family or a kid down. I'm curious your guys' thoughts. The way the NBA has gone and the load management conversation has been a hot topic the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm old school. So I agree with him. People pay their hard-earned money. Whether you're in the nosebleeds or whether you have money you've paid, you still paid to come watch somebody perform. So I do agree with Jordan. I do agree with that line of thinking of people just, having to perform. But then I flip to the owning of this, the ownership structure and how guys think about players, and players are their assets, right? And to me, you have to back into TV contracts. When you have this much distribution of games and they're on every streaming platform, and basketball is about to be internationally or this international thing, and you are paying guys exorbitant amounts of money, and everything is driven off of data. And I'm not sure if people realize they have, which these things are called force plates. And these force plates are plates where athletes go out to practice during the day, and when they come in, they'll have these devices on their chest, which are called catapults, to see how much a guy has ran during practice, during training. And then they'll get on the force plate before and after practice and actually have to jump to see how explosive that these guys are. And so from an ownership standpoint, these guys are
like
managing.
a walking Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'm a smart motherfucker. I just be blending. Be blending shit, right? It's gonna get. It's just this shit is like I just be. It's a little.
Now keep mixing.
It's like educational niggery shit somewhere in there.
There's some powerful niggery.
That's kind of like my style, right? But all in, that's my style, right? So, and what happens is so if I'm an owner and I'm looking at an athlete and I'm like, okay, how do I get this guy to be available to me longer? I have to sit him a little bit more. And so the guy who owns the team, he never has to have the accountability, right? So if I'm sitting up in the suite and I own the team, or I'm part of an ownership group, and I can make a decision to push it down to Brian, and you complain about it, I really don't have to deal with the consequences of that, right? I can just kind of hide and say, hey, man, I'm protecting my assets. And even though you don't like it, you're going to tune in. So that's like, I just see both sides of it. And I do believe that in context, Jordan is also saying, like, these dudes who y'all praise aren't really like that. You know what I'm saying? That's to me in the most classiest way, because, it's just different. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I'm pretty sure, like, what's the most more money Jordan ever made? 38 million, like, and I was at the end of his career.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yes.
At the end of his career, I remember in the 90s when they were talking about Jordan was making about like 30 to 38 million a year. This was after all the shit that he's accomplished. And then if I see Jay who just through contract circumstance, or remember fucking Dellavedova was making like $10 million a year, some shit like that. I'm pretty sure Jordan probably has love where the game is went, but he's probably like,
former Buckeye. Evan Turner got over $150 million, something in one of his contracts, I think with Portland, something like that. But what Maurice is saying is, and I'm gonna just give you the distilled version, because we all love MJ. Look, I got his shoes on right now, the Jordan 2s and all that. So I ain't love MJ, but man, I'm gonna just be honest. A lot of these old niggas be hating, bro. Like a lot of the dudes, like when you see Scotty, when you see MJ, when you see Rodman and all these guys talking about, you're like, we get it, man. Like you would have thought the best basketball ever was played between 85 and like 2000 or 99. Like when MJ left with the jumper over Byron Russell, like the NBA just ended after that. Like it didn't, okay? And you bring up a very good point. There are a lot more reps being had on a basketball court right now. I don't know if you guys have ever watched a modern NBA game, but when you watch the NBA Finals from 1996, I believe it was, at halftime, I think the score was like 38 to like 52 or something. Now that's the score after the second or after the first quarter. Like you got to understand, they're getting up and down the court a whole lot more. So the average scores now are like 119, the 125 or something like that. That means there's a lot more pounding happening on the bodies. I'm not saying that the loadout management needs to go to like Kawhi Leonard levels where you getting $200 million to basically hang out, have a cup of coffee, play 2 games every 2 weeks. No, I'm not saying that. But you do have to understand, as you talked about with the analytics, that it is a little bit different sport than it was in 1989, back when they could smoke cigarettes and gamble all day and still go and play in a game that evening, and the final score was 76 to 78. Like that's what's up. That's wonderful. We love the NBA. That was the golden years, they might call it. But my brother, it is a different league now,
let y'all go.
And it's on every platform.
I'll let you go.
It's a whole different league now.
So you telling me, all right? They say that the athlete today,
Yeah.
bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah.
True.
That's true. Then why not play 82 games?
Bigger, stronger, faster, way more impact on joints.
Oh,
You ever
man.
see Zion land from one of them dunks?
Zion's a fatty
He
watty,
almost
though.
blow his knee out every time.
He just a ham. That's all that is.
Listen, because he in New Orleans eating that food.
I don't want to go. I'll let y'all go. I have some other
And
comments.
listen, bigger, stronger, faster, right? But we sit
But
around
that
these
is
guys who are great businessmen, man. You got to protect the asset. That you have to. That's the biggest thing, right? Do you think they caring about who's in the nosebleeds and who's on the, they care about, no, they don't care about them TV contracts and how much money they getting. Other than that, man, go play ball. Jordan is a hater right now. Jordan don't own the team no more.
Do not speak of Michael Jordan.
I'm speaking to Michael Jordan like that. He's a hater right now. He doesn't own a team anymore. I bet he was thinking different. I bet he was thinking different. I'm not saying he wasn't good, but right now he's being a hater. If he owned a team, he doesn't own the team anymore. So I bet if he still owned his team, he would probably think differently.
No, I don't think Jordan think different if he's still on the team. I just think you and Jay drinking the same Kool-Aid today.
No, I'm drinking water. Actually.
You know what?
Yeah,
he
happens
to be in the same seat that you normally sit in. So it must be something about that seat. It's something
Two softest guys on the set.
Man,
something about that
it is a different game now. It's a different market.
So, okay, let's take the business side of it.
Nigga,
you can't play 82 games.
Listen,
Come on.
Can I? Yeah, but if I'm gonna make the same money and I'm gonna give you high output when I'm out there, and I might have to take
That's the point that he's making. The point that he's like the point. Okay, on some level, before you start playing basketball, it was like I'm playing because I'm better than you.
Yes.
So let's make sure we start with the same premise. I'm playing because I'm better than you. I'm playing because I'm more competitive than you. What Jordan is saying is we should keep it there. Like it should never leave there. That's the competitive thing about sports. Like once we start managing how we play and when we play, it turns into something else. So you can't compare it to what I have going on.
I agree with you.
Go ahead.
I'm not arguing that. Like the spirit of the game, why you're supposed to be out there is because you want to bust somebody's ass and show how great you are. And I love the fact that.
But can you compare? But can you compare you to me when you're playing up under a different set of circumstances?
The game is a little bit different. We all agree, right? Okay. What I'm saying is simply, and I'm not maybe MJ himself ain't the one necessarily hating, but what he's saying is, man, what I went through is way different than what these guys are going through, and they're making way more to go through way less than what I went through. He's not wrong in that.
Let's back the conversation up. can you compare you to me and call you as great as me? And this isn't a Jordan or LeBron conversation.
I really want to make it one. I was hoping that's where we was going.
Because I think that he's talking about people in general. You can't say that these guys are the same when they're choosing, like when they have the ability to choose the circumstances of how they're judged. It is the whole reason why people critique and criticize Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather's a businessman. You have people who are...
Because he picks his fights.
Yes, picking your fights and load management are the same thing. And you can take the narrative with how you want. And that's not to say that Floyd Mayweather isn't the greatest of all time, right? But he picked and chose with how he did things and when he did things.
He was very strategic.
Yes, and so to the dudes who were just worried about fighting and wanted to fight and wanted to box, it didn't matter if it was Brian, Jeremy, you, Alex... Will, whoever, let's go ahead and fight.
Tyson fought everybody. He didn't care.
But that's what they like. So that era was like we're not like, to me it's like bitch shit versus like niggas, like whatever the fuck these niggas doing. That's what I really want to say. But I'm not sure the audience understands that.
Let me ask you this: who's the top tier player for the Cavs right now?
Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, Donovan Mitchell. Right. If he gets hurt, are they going to put the same fans in the seats? If he's
we're not arguing that. So we can agree to that point, right? The point that I was getting to with Jordan, I'm pretty sure gets mad at people comparing people now to what they were compared to back in the day. And I think what he's saying is like it's not the same set of circumstances.
Correct.
Y'all are picking and choosing when you all want to play, if you're fresh. Like the thought of being an athlete.
Do the players choose that or the coaches?
They say the ownership group, but like whatever, right? It still happens regardless of what it is. But you can't compare. You can't. These nigga, you can play if you want to.
100%. But you're both right. Like, yes, the times were different. It's just a different game now, and you can't really compare guys from this generation to the old eras of basketball because there were very different circumstances. We can all agree there. But at the end of the day, like, there are a couple guys that I think kind of cross over, and I think LeBron's one of them. Where LeBron's
a great player.
He was in the old NBA. He played it that way. He's in this new NBA. He's evolved to be able to play it that way, but it has included more load management. Some of that's because he's older. You're going to load manage past 38. Jordan got a chance to retire twice from the NBA and get some rest and play baseball. Man, Bron's been going for 23 years straight. So it isn't apples to apples, but it definitely isn't when you talk about just what's been put on certain guys' bodies. So you also have to understand that. Like, if I was going to argue against Jordan, I'd say, yeah, but you also got a chance to completely vacate the sport and relax for a little while.
I can see it. You see what that seat does?
Gets y'all feisty.
Yeah.
They was getting clotheslined. They was getting thrown to the floor. They was fist
clips
fighting.
of Bron getting clotheslined too. Like, this happens.
But you was saying they was just running up and down the court.
Yeah.
They run up and down the court more.
It's a lot
Jordan
more.
was getting beat up.
100%. But what I'm saying is, this athlete now, basketball's different, right? So now they've been through AAU, so they played in their high school team. Then they did AAU all summer. So there's way more mileage when they're on their way in than in a sense than it was for guys who might have just played back in the 80s and just played some pickup basketball here or there, played the high school team, and then go to the NBA. It's going to be a little bit different.
That isn't how it happened. Bunch of plumbers and mechanics.
We're not
talking about the 1930s.
I'm just saying,
these guys also played. They also played 3-4 seasons of college basketball schedules.
100%,
right?
100%.
So there's a lot of variables here. But here's what I'm going to say. Most
Right.
importantly, our local celebrity has asked me to keep him on track. You have another show to get to.
Yes.
So, Maurice, unfortunately, we got to wrap it up and save it for tomorrow.
Yeah. So with that being said, Corporate J. Yes.
I'm inviting myself to the show tomorrow. I'll be back because I'm not finished with y'all for a second. Start with the facts. Y'all gonna see me again.
Let me tell you like this. So in full disclosure, I was trying to get people to join the show who actually act like the degenerate. I'll be with some degenerates. So all these motherfuckers on these screens is degenerates when they're around me. I'm just like outward with it, right? So I can be like, look. So these dudes get on camera, it becomes like everybody's corporate. And I say, I ain't really what I really recruited. I recruited like degenerates. And so somehow or another, everybody gets like proper and corporate. But they don't even know the listeners are as degenerate as you are, but everybody's just faking. And I've learned that in life a long time ago. Everybody got like degenerate in them, but like everybody choose to believe that somebody that's watching isn't as a degenerate as they are. Like, but whatever. And so, Corporate J, thank you for joining us.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Thank you for joining us.
To all the fellow degenerates out there, we're all trying to do the best we can.
No, I just think the world would be a better, more comfortable place if people just showed their. Now, I may have chose the wrong set of words when I said educational niggery. Like that was probably a wild choice of words because somebody gonna be like, "Why are you calling yourself a nigger?" Right? So, but everybody has that bandwidth of like something. I don't even know what you call it, but I've had 3-4 hours of sleep. And I say this with so much passion, as you see, I'm looking in the camera. But thank y'all for joining us every day, 2:00. And we're about to shoot another episode for something else. And so I got to like bring my more of the intellect side up. So later, I had 3 hours of sleep.